And he did post one like kind of teaser picture where it seems like they're giving him the haircut, which I always felt Van Damme wussed out of doing, right? He's like too busy with the cocaine. You think they could have probably made him give him the haircut when he was sleeping. Welcome back to the Flophouse, where we are always golden, and I decided to do something a little bit different this time around. Been getting a couple of comments here and there from all of you, and I've been seeing lots of videos about this subject, but that new Street Fighter movie that's filming right now is quite unhinged in a variety of different ways. I might have to do a what happened about this thing, not because I think it'll be bad, I mean there's always the chance, but because it has a very interesting development history so far. Just a very quick refresher, it was going to be made by the two dudes that directed Talk to Me and the latest horror movie, Bring Her Back, and they were big Street Fighter fans, and they were going to do it, and then they just decided to not do it. And I thought the movie would be stuck in development hell forever, but then it quickly got a new director who worked on the Eric Andre show, and then rumors, not official ones, but were like, oh, Roman Reigns is in it, Cody Rhodes is in it, and like, etc., and I did not believe these at the time. I couldn't believe it. It seemed so crazy, like absolute fan casting type stuff. Then it turns out it's all real. They announced the full cast officially on a bunch of various social media sites. So let's talk about it. Because I've got some thoughts. Here we have the first official logo for the game. And I, as a purveyor and appreciator of logos, I think this is good. It's very classic Street Fighter. It's kind of a mix of old school Street Fighter 2 World Warrior, the classic logo, but then mixing it with some like later designs that came from like Udon comics and stuff, and various compilation disc releases. So I kind of like that. I'm not sure if it's official, like it's going to be the official one when the movie actually starts up its marketing campaign. But I think if you can polish this a little bit more, put some drop shadow around that type of thing, I could see this being a nice logo that really makes you feel like they're sticking close to the games. And before we really get into all the casting, that's what I hope this really does, is be silly and dumb. I don't want this to be a serious movie at all. Like maybe a few serious scenes here and there, but I want you to be more like Street Fighter 1994 rather than, Legend of Chun-Li. I think the farther away from that, the better. So I'm assuming the cast is sort of been made, fabricated, assembled, if you will, to lean into that. Because it's hard to take a lot of this casting seriously. Some of it's totally fine and expected, and others is not. So let us look at the first cast member.
Now, find a new rival.
He's got adrenaline going through his soul. Oh my God, it's Cody Rhodes. At first I was like, huh? But then when I thought about it for more than like 2 seconds, I was like, oh yeah! Cody loves his Americana. He literally has like a weird tattoo with the American flag colors just in his skull motif on his neck. So that's what made it fan casting to me. Like some person would see this in Wizard magazine circa 1994 and be like, oh yeah, he's got a tattoo. That makes perfect sense. And his hair is kind of like that. So I would really think Cody would best off be playing like Cody Travers from Final Fight, but Guile makes sense too. Cody has done some acting in the last couple of years, dating all back to like 2013, at least for a decade or so. He was in a couple of random shows and movies and stuff, and he's been getting more acting roles recently. I think he was in the latest Naked Gun movie. Anyway, I think he could do a very good job as Guile. I do not want Guile as a central character, but Guile always works best when he's like support character, right? I honestly think he could do a good job. Like, he has the training, obviously, being a wrestler, has the physique, I feel, and he did post one like kind of teaser picture where it seems like they're giving him the haircut, which I always felt Van Damme wussed out of doing. Right, he's like too busy with the cocaine. You think they could have probably made him give him the haircut when he was sleeping, but yeah, no, we didn't actually get the stupid haircut. I would love to try to see that actually pulled off in live action. That's what I'm looking forward to for the most for Cody, because I'm sure he could do all the rest of the stuff fine. So I think I'm giving a big thumbs up to the American Nightmare playing the American Street Fighter. All right, next up we have Noah Centeno as Ken. I wasn't super familiar with this guy. Then I started looking at his history a little bit more, and I was like, okay, sure. He's casted to play a young John Rambo in a Rambo reboot. Okay, and then you start seeing pictures of him with this shredded ass body, and I'm like, okay. And then the pièce de résistance is this blonde hair. Now, at first, I was like, wait, no, I think this is the right choice. Because any fan movies of Street Fighter and stuff, they always take some dude and put a really bad blonde wig on him, and it just doesn't look right. In live action, it just doesn't work. In anime and comics and stuff, that's fine. It doesn't matter. In the game, it's obviously fine. But I always saw the headcanon that, or maybe it's real canon, that Ken dyes his hair blonde. So why wouldn't it be like this shaggy dye job? And we'll see a picture later on of this dude, and I think he's killing it. Ken is a very hard character to get right in terms of the visuals and stuff. We still haven't had a great live action Ken, not even in the Jackie Chan City Hunter movie. But I'm feeling good about this. I've only seen this guy in like one other thing, and I was like, he was pretty good in that. So I think this is a good wild card pick to be like the standout character of the movie. So that's got to put some hype on him, you know, there's some expectation. So hopefully he nails it in the end. We'll see those other pictures later on, but yeah, this is another big thumbs up for me so far. Right, Andrew Koji as Ryu. Now, I watched, I think the first season of the show Andrew is in called Warrior, which is really, really good. Just basically him being like an immigrant going to San Francisco in the early 1900s or whatever, and him just being a beast, being a really good actor, having the body, having the training and everything. As Ryu, it's like I still haven't seen this guy like not clean shaven, so maybe they're trying to do the hot beard Ryu sort of thing. But I need to see him in like the full costume. There hasn't been a lot of great shots of him doing anything yet, not even any behind the scenes pictures and stuff. But I think this is a solid choice for Ryu, right? Again, good actor, lots of martial arts training and stuff, so I definitely think he can pull it off. He is a bit like on the smaller side in terms of body type. He's like more built for speed, but maybe that'll be fine for Ryu, right? The guy Noah playing Ken, he's certainly buffed up for that role, so maybe that'll be a nice contrast there between the two. But yeah, another big thumbs up. I can't believe it. There's not that many like ands or I don't knows in this cast. They're just kind of weird, and there's some unknowns for sure. But for your three arguably more mainstream characters, I think they've been doing a good job so far with this casting. All right, this is Kalina Liang as Chun-Li. She doesn't have a lot of acting credits so far, but I did see the horror movie she was in called Presence. Now, you don't really get a good sense of presence from her because it's basically not a found footage movie, but if you know the movie Presence, it's a horror movie that's in the perspective of the presence that's haunting it. So the camera's pulled back a lot, so you never see much of her character that much. She's always like kind of in the background talking, and it's hard to really get a sense of the actors that way. But the acting you were able to glean from that movie, she did seem quite skilled in that area. In terms of martial arts training and all that, I don't know if she has any. I don't know, except for a couple of like really obvious actors and actresses. I don't know she's there. Like, of course everyone's going, oh, well, where's the hips? Where's the thunder thighs? Listen, that's video game anime shit. It's going to be pretty hard to find someone that can fit that and can also act. So, I think just in terms of looks, like that's pretty much as a live action Chun-Li as you're going to find. So, the costume is also going to be a big thing. People are going to want to be accurate as possible. You know what I'd like? I'd like the Alpha costume. I think that would make sense in a lot of ways. I don't know if what they're going to do with her character, where she's actually an Interpol agent or not, or just a martial artist. But I do hope they nail her because, Chun-Li is near and dear to many people. And at least I hope she's wearing blue. As much as I love Ming-Na and her performance as Chun-Li in the Raul Julia movie, I always bother me, why is she wearing red? Why is it not blue? It made no sense to me. Anyway, this is another pretty warm thumbs up, but I really need to see her in costume before I can really definitively say where they're going with this movie and the character of Chunners, because she's a load-bearing character for Street Fighter. So this is Haruki Goto as E Honda. This is an actual a Japanese wrestler, I believe. I don't know if he actually has any formal training in sumo, but I mean, this seems pretty good, right? I don't think he's quite as big as sumo wrestlers are supposed to be. Maybe they'll do some CGI or do some prosthetics or something, or maybe they'll just leave it as is. It'd be interesting to see what they would actually do with Honda, because he's a very tertiary character in terms of Street Fighter lore and stuff. He doesn't really ever do anything very important, but I would like him to be able to serve people Chenko stew at the very least. Maybe he's gonna be running a restaurant or something, I don't know, but this is, again, not a bad pick. There's not a whole lot to say about him. I don't know if he has any acting chops, but he needs to play E Honda, so I don't think it's that important. Alright, so I've been confused about this man for a while. This is some sort of musician. I have literally never heard of him before. There's one or two actors in this cast, and I'm like, okay, sure. This is this man's gimmick. He plays music and just always wears masks. So someone said, well, he'll be perfect for Vega. I mean, Claw. So, good for you, sir. You have a gimmick. Sure. Whatever you say. So, there'll be a picture later on where I'm like, oh, okay, maybe they are casting this right. In just terms of physicality and sticking really, really true to how some of the character designs are. I have no idea if this man has acted in anything. I really don't know who he is, so there's not much to say other than that. Especially with this picture, it's just... Again, the mask is throwing me off. Anyway, Orville Peck is Vega. I don't think I can give this a thumbs down. I think it's kind of neutral because I really don't know anything about what's going on with this pick and how this man wound up in this cast. Vidya Jamwal. Okay, what I do know from this man is that where I live, I remember being in a movie theater and seeing a big poster for a movie called Commando. And I thought it was like a Bollywood remake of the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I think it's just an action movie called Commando. I had seen a few clips from it, and I was like, this dude looks like such a fucking beast. Super, super shredded, super good looking. So maybe they're going in a different direction with Dalsim, right? Maybe they're not going to make him like this kind of pacifist sort of, yoga master. And maybe they're going to make him like a sick-ass action star. I don't know. It's very interesting that way, but they could go either. As long as he's not a scientist, I think we'll be okay. I definitely need to see this man in costume, whether he's going to wear a bald cap or they're just going to let the locks flow. It'd be a shame to keep that hair hidden, This is another thing where I'm like, I want to give this a thumbs up, so I think I will. It'd be interesting to see Dalsim as like a kind of more buff warrior that's not just, I'm a yoga master and that's kind of it. Maybe he could be cocky. I don't know. It'd be very different for Dalsim, obviously, but not any more different than a scientist. So, thumbs up to this one, I think. A tentative thumbs up, but I really do need to see more on-set pictures. And as of this recording, hopefully there's not going to be a whole bunch more that get released in the next week or two. So this video won't be super outdated, but yeah, I'm interested to see where this one goes, particularly. All right, we got Curtis, 50 Cent Jackson. It's bullshit that his grandma made him pick up the trash that one time, so... when I first heard this, I was like, yeah, no, that makes sense. I've seen 50 Cent in a couple of movies here and there. Expendables, I think he's in Expendables. I think so. Anyway, I've seen him in one or two things, and I was like, yeah, no, he can act in these kind of action roles. That makes sense. I think for Balrog, you're not going to have a very interesting arc, at least in the very first movie. We'll get to a picture later on where 50 Cent definitely... has started to transform into Balrog a little bit more closely. I think this is a solid choice. 50 Cent isn't nearly as buff as he was back in the 2000s, so that might be a little bit of an issue, but maybe they'll just make him wear the t-shirt. Balrog usually boxes in t-shirts, so this is another thumbs up for me. I think there's maybe better, more accomplished actors that probably could have pulled this off or something, but I'm rooting for Fitty. I hope he makes the the boxer legacy proud. So another tentative thumbs up here. All right. This is one of the later castings where, until they officially confirmed it, we saw pictures of Olivier Richters. I was first made aware of this guy like a year ago, a couple months ago, when they said in the TV show Reacher, there's a character that beats up Reacher because he's so much bigger than Reacher, than Jack fucking Reacher. And I was like, what? And then they showed this actor in it. He makes Reacher look like a fucking toddler. So this is the only man that really right now that I think could have played Zangief. So this is a big thumbs up for me. Doesn't matter if he acts or not. He can just put on a funny accent. That'll be the end of that. I always think Andrew Benarski, I believe, that played Zangief in the original Raul Julia Street Fighter, that he did like one of the more phenomenal jobs of the entire cast there. So I have similarly high hopes for this fellow being Zangief. He is a bodybuilder in real life, and not only that, I think he holds the distinction of being the world's tallest active bodybuilder right now. So this is a pretty damn solid choice. Probably the most appropriate one so far. This is probably one of the more, if not the most interesting one, because you go, what? And you're like, Blanca's even in the movie? How are you gonna... And then you really think about Jason Momoa, and he's been in comedies, he's like got good comedic timing, but he can also be an action star, he can be intimidating, he can be like, like a sweetheart. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that really would be good for Blanca. The only obvious big question is, what the fuck are we doing here with Blanca? How are we going to pull this off? Because this could go really, really badly. A lot of it for this movie has to do with the costuming and makeup, etc., etc. Street Fighter, the 1994 version, had pretty decent for what it is, but they dropped the fucking ball on Blanca. He looked awful. As a kid, I thought he looked awful, and as an adult man that I am, he looked worse, right? I was so disappointed as a kid. But I think they could pull it off with Jason Momoa, right? The thing is that Blanca, I don't envision him ever being tall. He's always slunched over and stuff. So if he's just kind of scurrying around, slunched over, and does he talk? What does he do? It's a very I'm surprised. If you've noticed, all the 8 original World Warriors and even the 4 Kings are present, except for one, which is, we'll get to that. So I guess they're like, well, we got to include Blanca, and it's like, maybe they'll do motion capture, maybe they'll CGI his face, they'll have enhancements, maybe it'll be like all mocap, maybe he's just going to be wearing green body paint. I'm not sure, but I'm interested to find out, because this could like be, I mentioned Chumler as being a load-bearing character. I think this is even more load-bearing, because once they show Blanca somewhere in a trailer, teaser, picture, whatever, it could be all over, because it set the tone for the rest of it. But I think they might be able to pull it off. As it stands, Jason Momoa being part of it, I think this is a thumbs up, but it's entirely based on how they handle the visual look of him. I think Mr. Momoa will do just fine. Might even excel in acting the part, but man, the visuals could really let him down. So fingers crossed that they kind of nail this, because it's going to be important. But a thumbs up for me for now. Eric Andre, everyone loves Eric Andre. It took me a while to understand / remember who the fuck Don Sauvage is. Then it's like, oh, he's from Street Fighter V. That's why I don't know him. Okay, so I played so little of Street Fighter V that I don't even remember. This is like the announcer guy. I think this is fine. It's very strange that not even tertiary. What's beyond tertiary? I can't even believe such a character is being introduced from Street Fighter V, and that there's even an announcer. But I could see that being a fun part of it. And I think Eric Andre would do well in this. Obviously, the director has directed episodes of the Eric Andre show, so I think there's a bit of nepotism going on there, or friends doing friends favors. I think there's a little bit of that, but like, it's Eric Andre, right? He's immensely funny and immensely talented, so I think he'll do fine in this role. I don't understand why Don Sauvage is in this movie, but if he has to be, I think he could do a lot worse than Mr. Andre. Bird up, everybody. So next we have, do not know a lot about this Mr. Schultz person, but in every single post about the cast, people don't seem to be very happy. He's a man with a podcast, I assume. I don't really know, but I can hazard a guess. I don't know why a man called Andrew Schultz is playing Japanese Dan Hibiki, who grew up in China, I think, in Hong Kong. So I don't know what's going on with that. That seems a little weird. Other than that, never heard of him before, so it just seems strange. Like, it seems strange that Dan's in it to begin with, but I like to think that also makes it so that we really know what type of Street Fighter movie that we're getting. And if Dan Hibiki is in it, I guess they must be going for a more goofy tone, which I applaud. But I'm going to say thumbs down for this one about now, because, yeah, it just seems like not a lot of people are very happy with it. This guy and his last name. David Dastmalchian. David Dastmalchian? I'm sorry. I first heard that Walton Goggins was up for the role of M. Bison, and I was like, holy shit, that's great. That dude can fucking act. And then, yeah, no, I guess that was just a rumor, or he didn't get the part, or scheduling conflicts. But this guy, he's been in lots of movies over the years. I remember he's in the Ant-Man movies as part of Ant-Man's crew. Then he was in, God, what do I want to say? The Suicide Squad, the James Gunn version. And then he was in Late Night with the Devil. And, dude, this guy can act. And I think he looks the part. He even reminds me of Raul Julia a little bit, right? Just his presence and his general look and everything. So he's not particularly like a big built guy, but depending on your version of Bison, he doesn't really need to be. Raul Julia's health concerns back then were mostly hidden by the fact that there was a stunt double, and that the suit that he was wearing was kind of like very like built and structured and stuff. So he was able to hide his physique. So, because you do want Bison to be intimidating in a physical sense, and I'm not worried about the acting part, because yeah, this is a great actor, probably one of the better ones in the entire cast so far of their work that I know. So this is a thumbs up for me again, for sure. Yeah, we'll see how it goes, because yeah, he's gonna be the main villain, and I think, so we did Boxer, and then we did Claw, so this is Dictator. So I might as well talk about it now. There's no Sagat announced for this movie. It doesn't mean he's not going to be in it. He could show up in the film at any time, really. I think if they haven't already, then what they might do is tease him for a Street Fighter 2. as like Ryu's big rival. You know, maybe he'll be the next big bad in the next film. Which I'm down for. Everyone wants to see that rivalry because it really wasn't represented in the Van Damme movie at all. So maybe that's what they're doing. But it's very conspicuous that one of the four kings is just missing from the film. So I've seen a lot of people asking, "Oh, where's Sagat? Why isn't Sagat here now? What do you think Sagat's doing?" Anyway, so we'll see with that. But as the four kings stand, I think it's solid, if not spectacular. I think David here does a lot of the heavy lifting, but this is another big thumbs up for me. This is gonna be a no for me. I think Roman Reigns would probably do great as Blanca himself, right? But Akuma, I just kind of don't see it personally. I suppose if you give him a bunch of makeup or whatever, but it's just like, I'd rather be like almost an unknown that's playing Akuma, because this Akuma, like, you know, he's mysterious and everything, but I just see Roman Reigns. I just see the big dog, right? I know it's been a while since the big dog. I'm sorry. It's bloodline shit now. Whatever. It's the one. It's whatever. The Roman Empire, etc., etc. Anyway, I don't know about this. I'm gonna just straight up say thumbs down, but I would like to be convinced, right? I would like to see obviously him in full costume and everything, but even then, he's, you know, playing like this Japanese guy, and I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what they would do. I don't have a fan casting in my mind, so let me know if you think there's better actors out there, Japanese or otherwise, that could possibly pull this off. But it's very hard, right? It's very hard. I almost want like Akuma to be like a puppet, like Goro in the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie, or be all CGI or some shit. I don't know. I think this is a fan casting that's probably the hardest, because he's like a literal demon man, you know. Not that Blanca's any easier, but yeah, I'm gonna say no to this. This is the only other one where I'm like, I don't think so. You know, I don't even think Roman's that solid of an actor in the ring, or like the one or two things he's been in. I think he's in the background of a Fast and the Furious movie for a bit. But let me know if I'm off base on that, and if you guys feel differently. Alright, so I think this is a boxing man or a UFC man. Let me know what he is. What combat sport does he do? I don't know why Joe from Street Fighter 1 is in this. I'm assuming this man cannot act. Let me know. I'm gonna say no to this, but it's not even so much this guy's fault. It's more like, why is Joe in the movie? I don't understand. Does he get knocked out in the first few seconds, like in the intro, or does he knock someone else out? A la intro Street Fighter 2? I'm not sure where they're going with this, but obviously it kind of doesn't look the part. I know hair can be changed or doing whatever, but it's like, why not have him play anybody else? Why is it Joe? This just seems really weird and random to me. So I'm going to say no to all of this. Know that Joe is in it. Know that this guy's playing him. And like, what are we doing here? So yeah, this is unfortunately another thumbs down. Sorry, Mr. Alexander. Do not come to my house and beat me up. All right, Mel Jarnson as Cammy. Now, this is a recent picture of her for Cammy. And like, yeah, there you go. She's got it going on. You can't really tell from this photo, but I did extensive research on this woman. And she does have very pretty green eyes. She's brunette, and you may remember her, or you may not, from the Mortal Kombat movie from 2021. She played Natara. I don't even think she had a line or two, and obviously she was one of the worst looking. Not the actress's fault, of course, but she was one of the worst dressed characters in that entire movie. You could barely tell it was Natara. They even tried to emulate her Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance look and stuff. So blink and you'll miss it. She did have a good death scene though, but I'm very open for this for Cammy. I believe she's Australian Thai. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But I that's pretty good considering, Kylie Minogue's Australian ancestry. So that, comes into play here. It's obviously not British, but close enough, I guess. Anyway, I obviously need to see her in full costume and everything. All the Cammy costumes, please. She might play Killer Bee Cammy, you know, though? Maybe? I could see that happening. They start off with Killer Bee, and if the movie's a success, you can have her be like regular Cammy that fights against Bison or like Shadaloo in the sequel movies. We could see that. Anyway, this is a thumbs up for me right now. I'm not that surprised, but yeah. Obviously not as important as Chun-Li in terms of the overall Street Fighter structure and storyline, but still a very important character. You need to get the female characters right, or all the gooners will not show up. So another, I think it's our last character, Julie is here for some reason in the Street Fighter 1 movie, but also has tons of Street Fighter 2 characters and a few other random ones. So I'm just guessing she's just working for Bison as a doll. I'm assuming here, Mrs. Reina Vallandingham. I'm really sorry about that. Looks quite pretty. I don't know anything about her. Didn't see anything that I was kind of aware that I've seen of hers, but I mean, that's fine. I don't have any problem with this particular casting. It's strange that Julie's even in it. But other than that, I can't really give it like a thumbs down. So I'm just going to say like a tentative thumbs up, thumbs like, 3/4 of the way up, type of thing. Until I can even see what type of role Julie would have in this film. But I think that's it for the main casting. Overall, I think you saw a lot of thumbs up there. So much better than back in the day when I first saw the casting of the Street Fighter Van Damme movie in a magazine, in a Wizard magazine, most likely. Except for Guile and Bison. Because I was a fan of the Addams Family movie that Raul Julia was in. Every single one actor was like, who? What? They don't look like them at all. Blah blah blah. I think Zangief was the only one I saw like behind the scenes pictures. I was like, okay, well that looks like Zangief, but everyone else I was like, no. Right. So yeah, I think this is a higher batting average for sure than the '94 movie. With that said, my hopes, like I said much earlier, that I do hope this is a goofy movie. It has to have good fighting. It has to have special moves. Now, we deserve this. I don't care how you explain it. Don't explain it at all. People can just shoot fireballs. Okay, shut up. That type of thing. I do want it to be mostly comedic. If you like your serious Street Fighter, that's good. But have you played a Street Fighter game? They are not serious games for the most part. Not at all. But I think for now, just look into a few of the behind the scenes pictures.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This is Ken, as stated earlier. And yes, give me all of this, please. I think the blonde hair looks great. I kind of like how he's got like the black eyebrows and everything. I can see this being Ken. There is another behind the scenes picture I tried to find. It was on social media for like a second and I lost it. It was basically him and Andrew Koji playing Ryu, and they're both like swimming like in the ocean. There was another picture of this guy wearing like cut off jean shorts and he's at the beach, and I'm like, that's Ken. Very good. Ken! That is so Ken Masters. And I'm loving all that stuff. And obviously, he worked out a bunch. I'm assuming he's playing Rambo right after this, so he's got to keep this this particular musculature around for a while. But yeah, no, all of this good stuff, Mr. Centeno. You're killing it, dude. Next up, we have the cast kind of messing around, and I think this might be Australia. Let me know. I think it's being filmed there. Anyway, so you can see Zangief over here is Zangiefing it up. Then we have Chun-Li. Not really sure who's behind here. This could be the actress playing Cammy. We have Dalsim here and Vega. And then we have 50 Cent. Now, a lot of people have noticed that without any sort of facial hair, 50 Cent looks like he just aged like 30 years very, very quickly. But I think when you get to a certain age, and people noticed are getting used to you having facial hair for all of your life that they've known you. You take that away, you're either going to look like a baby or you're going to look like you're like 70, right? It's one or the other. You're never going to look like, oh, that's just a normal guy. It's just a shock to most people's minds. So yeah, it does make him a little bit older, but now I'm like, yeah, he looks a bit more like Balrog to me in my mind. Because I don't think Balrog's ever had facial hair except for maybe some alternative costumes. And Mr. Peck over here just living his gimmick. He loves it, right? He loves this gimmick. I don't know who this guy is. He seems really bored, but everyone seems like they're having fun in these pictures. And man, they're really marketing this like quite early with all these cast pictures, right? Trying to get people hyped and stuff. But yeah, I've seen lots of people be mean to Mr. Cent here, just saying like, oh, he looks like a grandpa now. And I'm like, listen, he's not going to look like the cover of Bulletproof for nothing, right? So those times are done, but you know, I still think their Balrog is definitely in there somewhere, right? I think our last picture I was able to accrue is Mr. Peck again, and Kailina Liang. Love this shirt. She's paying homage, but I'm like, oh, you just kind of look like Vega now. Obviously, this tattoo is very fresh and very new and most likely fake, and these are his real tattoos, so that's cool. He definitely has the body down. It's a little bit more slim and trim like Vega should be, and he's got, I don't know if this is his actual mask from the movie, because if you recall, I think in Street Fighter V, Vega has a mask like this, but it's a little too plain. So they're either going to go with the classic mask that we all know and love, or they'll be doing something different, or this could be just this guy's random gimmick. But they got the hair, got the tattoo, they're having fun. Shout out to Mr. Orville Peck there. Yeah, and that's it. Like, that's all I was able to find as of the time of me recording this. But I like all these behind-the-scenes pictures that they're letting them do. It doesn't happen in movies very often, but I guess they know the characters are a big focal point, big draw for people to get interested. And overall, like, I'm digging what they're doing. So yeah, I'm very cautiously optimistic about this Street Fighter film. I thought when those other two directors dropped out, like, oh man, this thing's dead in the water and it's never going to happen. So the fact that they got this happening quite quickly is both reassuring and also kind of not reassuring, because maybe they're just slapping everything together and stuff. But I'm very interested to see it. I don't have apathy to this at all, because it's been since 2009, you know, since we've last had any sort of major Street Fighter thing being made. So I'm very interested to see what's going on. Like, I'll do a full analysis of a trailer whenever that gets released. The official tagline for the the official summary for the movie right now is like kind of estranged rivals Ryu and Ken join a martial arts tournament and are enlisted to get into the tournament by Chun-Li, and Bison is at the center of it, and there's like secrets and dangers that are going to be presented during this tournament, and that's the summary. And I'm like, that's nice that there's actually tournaments in these fighting game movies. It only took like fucking 40 years or some shit. 30 years now, I guess. But man, that helped me like come to grips and cope with the fact that this Street Fighter movie is indeed very much happening, and that at least is something in the right direction. They just have to be very careful with the tone. You don't want it to appear too cheesy, but just cheesy enough to get people on board in that way. And then you have to have one or two dramatic stingers that actually looks like, oh shit, like there's going to be a big showdown, an epic fight, some drama in there, just a little bit. Yeah, you want to appeal to at least both camps somewhat, because I do feel if you go too goofy or you go too dramatic, it's just not going to be Street Fighter, right? Street Fighter is like a melting pot of things. So I believe this is coming out in exactly 1 year. I believe fall of 2026. So I shall be there. I shall review this thing, and hopefully we'll have the first 100% good Street Fighter movie, and not like ironically or you have nostalgia for it, etc. But let me know what you think in the comments below about the cast, what you hope the movie's going to achieve, any other characters you'd like to see in like a sequel or anything. Street Fighter 2. We should just call it Street Fighter 2 Championship Sequel or something like that. Or call it Super Street Fighter. I don't know. But until then, give me your thoughts. And until next time, I will see you in the Street Fighter house. Flophouse, I mean.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The beat back.